Orlando, Florida. You're now listening to the OZone Podcast, the voice of Orlando Magic fans. Join us every week for a unique fan perspective on all of the latest Magic news and updates. The show starts now.
What's up, Magic fans? Welcome back to another episode of the OZone Podcast, brought to you by DraftKings and part of the Basketball Podcast Network. We're your hosts, Al, myself, Anthony, and today is July 30th, and we are just one day post NBA draft. We were supposed to drop this episode out late last night. Al and I, we were at the NBA draft party over at the Amway, and it got a little too late, so we decided that we're going to wait, listen to the NBA or the Orlando Magic press conference, and then drop an episode out today. What's up, Al?
What's going on, man? This is an exciting one. I've been dying to do this.
Super exciting. I need a vent. I need to get all my thoughts out. So without further ado, with the fifth pick in the 2021 NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select Jalen Suggs.
Time out. You don't mean Scotty Barnes?
Nah, Scotty Barnes, man. You need to get one of those machines where you kind of hit the button and then applause happen in the background.
Yes.
Jalen Suggs, man.
Dude. What a night.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a tad bit embarrassed that we were so mad and disappointed with the NBA draft lottery. Now in hindsight, because really when we find out that we're getting the fifth pick, our mindset is, damn, we're gonna get Kuminga. That's it. Fifth pick, Kuminga. That's all we thought about. And then a couple weeks go by, and it's Scotty Barnes, ESPN, Bleacher Report, The Athletic, The Ringer, everyone is saying Orlando Magic and Scotty Barnes. Then the moment of truth. We arrive. We get here. The first pick, Cade Cunningham, expected. Second pick, Jalen Green, expected. Third pick, Evan Mobley, expected. But when that fourth pick came out and the words from the commissioner's mouth was Scotty Barnes, I'm sure time had to have frozen for half a second. Something magical, no pun intended, something magical happened at that moment. Because everyone in the Amway went ballistic. I've seen the videos, I've seen people tag us, showing their reaction, and nobody, not one person, maybe a couple, but not one person expected for Jalen Suggs to fall 5, for Scotty Barnes to be selected. Because at that point, you knew for a fact that very next pick, Jalen Suggs was coming to Orlando.
Dude,
wow!
It felt surreal. And again, we had a decent group of us at the Amway last night, and man, like you said, the moment the Raptors pick was announced, it was insane. I don't know what got a louder ovation that moment when the Raptors announced the pick or when we picked Suggs. I think when we picked Suggs, when it became official, was a louder cheer from the fans. But man, we started, I know the video's on Twitter, you guys can see it. We started jumping up and down. We started high-fiving. It was just surreal. And for me personally, if you've been listening to the podcast, I've been saying for a while now, give me one of the Jalen guys, or give me Cade Cunningham. I wanted a wing. That's what I wanted. I didn't want Mobley, and he may be an amazing player, but I just didn't see a fit for us right away on our team. The moment I saw Jalen Suggs was an option and we grabbed him, my goodness, man. Again, like you said, it kind of went from bad, right, at the lottery, to worse in becoming Scotty Barnes, the popular name, to then actually magic happening that night. And we ended up getting Suggs instead. Surreal moment for sure.
Part of me was confused. I was extremely confused because when you hear Scotty Barnes, you hear, the Raptors are going to part ways with Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry maybe going to Philly, maybe going here, going there. Jalen Suggs would fit perfectly in Toronto, an easy transition for Kyle Lowry. Yeah, they got Fred VanVleet. Maybe he can kind of, hold it down himself, but it's Jalen Suggs. Everyone is talking about how much this dude is a stud. There's zero reason for them to pass on him. They have Pascal Siakam. So now with Scotty Barnes, I'm not sure if you saw the viral video that was going around about the Raptors fan base, their reaction to the drafting of Scotty Barnes. And they didn't have the same reaction that we had. Let's be honest.
Not at all.
Like
Not at all.
Not even close.
And you can't blame him. I think, again, with the Magic pick at 5, I would have kind of felt that way, even with Barnes. Because, again, I just didn't see a fit for him in our roster. And I was so happy when the Raptors took him, not only because it meant Jalen Suggs for us, but also because it meant we're not getting Scotty Barnes. Like, I just didn't see how he would fit with us. Amazing talent, amazing energy on the court. Him and Cole, I kept saying in our episodes, would be amazing together on the court, the energy. But no, I'm okay. Give me anyone but him. And, man, for Jalen to drop to us in our laps, literally. John Hammond today spoke in the radio station interview, and he said it too. He's like, we didn't find out, just like the fans, until the Raptors pick was announced. So we didn't know about it until it happened. And when he did, they reacted in a similar way that the fans did in their draft war room, as they call it. So, I mean, the energy was felt in the front office, the fan base, social media. Again, the impact this kid's going to have in our franchise is going to be ridiculous. I mean, it was not expected. I don't know about you, but I went into the draft thinking Kuminga is going to be the guy, probably, or Barnes, and then who knows at 8. But I was mentally ready for that.
Yeah, and you immediately, granted, okay, draft finishes, you start doing your research, because I didn't see a scenario, like 0% chance that Jalen was going to fall. 0%. Nope. I honestly didn't see it. I saw selecting Scotty Barnes. That's what I envisioned. I mentally prepared myself. And then just kind of reading all the different grades that were given, and everyone is high praise for the outcome of the Orlando Magic. We're going to talk a little bit about Franz Wagner in a little bit, but you have a player that can, in Jalen Suggs, you have a player that can be the alpha guy, the number one option. Your Damian Lillard, the player, Kendrick Perkins kind of made I thought it was a little funny, but he used the analogy, the head of the snake. And I truly believe that somehow, some way, we were able to get that done, because this is a player that, it's not like before, man. We don't need time to develop. He doesn't need a couple more years. This isn't a project pick. This is a player that right now you can implement in your roster, that's going to go in on that court, do damage, and work. And he's a player that I'm expecting to start on day one.
Yeah.
That's your job. I'm expecting for Jalen Suggs to be in that starting lineup day one.
Yeah, I think you have to, right? Whether it's the 1 or the 2, who knows? But you got to start him. And again, that leads to a million questions, which we'll talk about later in the episode, because we have a lot of wings, and a lot of wings that honestly deserve playing time. Not only the young guys, but we have some vets that have proven themselves, and they need to get minutes. So we'll talk about that later in the episode. But I agree with you. You got to start him. This is a guy that gives us a marquee name, a national name. One thing I'm guaranteeing you right now, we will be on ESPN at least once or twice this season, just because of Jalen Suggs. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a marquee name, a guy that kids know, the fan base gets excited because of that one player. We haven't had that. Like, Carl Anthony's cool and all, RJ Hampton, like we love him in Orlando, but they don't have that national media attention.
I turned on ESPN early this afternoon. Immediately, the minute I turned on, we're talking the Orlando Magic. We're talking about Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Jalen Rose was saying a little bit earlier before we hired Coach Mosley, that in order for us to talk about you guys, you guys need to hire Coach Penny. You want us to respect you guys, hire Coach Penny, hire Coach P. And he brought up I didn't agree with that. He brought up a really good point. We've gone so long without having any respect on the franchise. From an outside perspective, from the national media, it's been a really, really long time. And to get a player of Jalen Suggs' caliber is going to be franchise changing. Mike Schmitz, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the scouter for the ESPN, that he does a lot of the scouting report videos and is their main analyst. He considers Jalen Suggs as a franchise shifter, a culture shifter. believes that Jalen Suggs is going to be able to really take this team back to a level that we are respecting nationally. And man, how can you not believe it? How can you not breathe that in and really truly see that is really a possibility soon in the near future? We're not talking about 5 years down the road. We're talking about like now. Take a look at the young roster that we have. All right, this is it's starting. Like, I get that we have a lot of guards and a lot of wings, and we still got to figure some things out. But this vision that Jeff Weltman has created, that some people in the beginning were really off on, is starting to take shape, man. It's starting to look like it's finally coming together.
Yeah, I think you got to be excited for what Suggs is going to do. Like you said, immediately. One thing we've talked about is like, hey, are playoffs realistic? We've had some of our audience ask us that in our mailbag segments. Like, next season, what do we do? Are we playoff contenders? Are we going to be looking to tank? Honestly, man, I think now that you have Suggs in the mix, and depending what we do in free agency and how things play out with some trades, which may still go down, again, I really believe we can play for the play-in tournament, man. Like, I think we have enough young talent. The only thing, or the only thing that can impact that will be health. If J.I. unfortunately gets hurt again, Markelle gets hurt again, that type of stuff. But if we stay healthy, I think our team is going to surprise a lot of people, especially those teams that are like the Lakers and, I don't know, the East, the Celtics, that come to Orlando thinking it's an easy win. I'm going to rest Jason Tatum and LeBron, and then we go and we beat them. That may happen a lot next season. It may be just enough for us to get into that 10th seed or 9th seed in the East. But man, it's exciting. Again, it rejuvenated the fan base. We went from drafting a project to drafting a guy that we know for sure is going to lead this team. Maybe not next year right away, but in the very near future, and be the face of the franchise. Again, J.I. also has the attribute to himself, but this kid has it on a national level, which again, we haven't had that in so many years.
2019 Mr. Football for the state of Minnesota, 2020 Mr. Basketball. I think what makes Suggs so unique is that he has that football pedigree. He has that football mindset. He talked a lot about, some of the things that would translate from, being a quarterback in football to the hardwood, is that he embraces the contact. And you see a lot of his highlights that he's really, like, he has a 6'4" frame, 205 pounds. Like, he's a big guard, and he's really good at lowering that shoulder. He's really good at absorbing that contact and still finishing. And the part that really stood out to me, and the part that's really scary, is that I can't remember what interview it was. I want to say it was immediately after he was drafted. But he said that this is going to be the first time that he gets a chance to really focus on only basketball.
Yep.
That normally he would only put maybe 70% into basketball. The rest would be into football. So he's an elite player that was drafted 5th in the NBA draft and only focusing 70%. That's it. Scary. So what is this kid going to look like focusing 110%? He already has like that mindset of, if it's me or you, it's definitely going to be me. I'm going to run through a wall. You're going to have to really tackle me down. He's bringing that mindset from the football side. So now he's focusing everything. Like, this is your bread and butter, and this is your job, professional. You're going out there. I think that when we take a look, obviously I'm biased, but you take a look at 2-3 years down the line, we look back at this draft and they do the redrafting, that people are going to be like, how in the world did you let Suggs pass by? How did you let that happen?
I mean, don't forget, a lot of draft analysts kept saying throughout the draft yesterday, Suggs was probably the second best prospect in that draft.
Yep.
And they really believed Houston could have drafted him at number 2. So again, this kid dropped. It could be a situational thing where the Cavs don't need a point guard. The Raptors apparently don't either. And he fell to us. But I think if the Rockets needed a point guard and Jalen Green was there, you don't know. Maybe they want that leader. They want that guy that can lead that team to greatness in the future. And they would have taken him. So, man, again, I just wanted one of the Jalen guys or Cade. We ended up with Suggs, which is, dude, waking up today felt a lot better, that's for sure, than it has for the past 3 months.
Al, why were we so upset at lottery? Why were we so mad? Everything's gonna be all right. We just had to wait a couple weeks, a month or so. We would have been good.
Listen, I wouldn't
Stress
change a
for no
thing.
reason, man.
I wouldn't change a thing though. Like I love the fact that we kind of felt bad about the way things played out, the way that we knew, hey, Kaminga's
The
gonna be there, or
the
Barnes.
emotional roller coaster is insane.
Exactly. And I loved it.
Insane.
I loved it. And I love the fact that we were there at Amway yesterday to watch it all kind of go down. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Like it was worth every minute of us losing all the games last season. Like it made it worth it. Because at the end of the day, we got rewarded for it. Whether thanks Toronto. Like that's all I can say. Thanks Toronto, because
Thanks Toronto. Thank you
Oof.
Philly. Thank you Denver.
Chicago.
Thank you Chicago.
Oof.
We need to send them all. We need to send them all a gift basket. Send them all a gift basket from the OZone Podcast. So what was neat also was that yesterday at the draft party at the Amway, RJ Hampton was there with Wendell Carter, and after Suggs got drafted, he FaceTimed him. So apparently RJ Hampton and Suggs, they have a really good relationship, knowing each other for a really long time. So the fact that there's some type of connection there, which is crazy because we didn't draft RJ Hampton, we got him via trade. So the fact that they end up being on the same team together after playing, on Team USA together previously in the past, it's going to be fun to watch the two of them really develop. If you saw Cole Anthony had posted he was at the actual Barclays Center watching the draft live, and he was hella excited once he heard Jalen Suggs, like super excited. And the way that Cole Anthony is, he's infectious. And everything's like he's hyped about everything all day long. Like that. That's just how his personality is. And the Magic, man, we got a really good young group. And if you're not excited about this team right now and what has happened, then I really don't know what it would take for you to be excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, great. We drafted Jalen Suggs with the 5th pick. And now with the 8th pick of the 2021 NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select Franz Wagner. I feel bad a little bit because the minute that the Magic drafted Scotty Barnes in the Amway, chance, we want Suggs. And then we get Suggs, everyone goes ballistic.
Yep.
Right? Now we get to the 8th. And people were, at that point, me personally, I was kind of like, all right, if Kuminga falls to 8, damn, that's a home run. He ends up going 7 to Golden State. But we had options at 8. Book Knight was still on the board. Moses Moody was still on the board. A lot of valuable scores that we really, really wanted. When they announced Wagner, you hear like the arena just flatline.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were not booing, but there was like a little bit of a why or a who, why him. Again, I think we were all ready to hear Book Knight's name, Moody's name. Like that was just kind of what we expected. But I'll surprise you here. I've done my research on this kid today. I didn't know much about him either.
Like everyone does.
And I gotta tell you, man, like it makes a ton of sense though. Like when you play it back and you say, okay, why? Again, I've been a Moody fan since day one. I'm like, I want the kid in Orlando. He's gonna shine here. But one thing to understand is, okay, so you drafted Suggs, who dropped to us unexpectedly. Nobody expected that. So now do you draft another guard and now make it 5 or 6, 7 shooting guards that pretty much need to play? How's all that gonna work? The Magic were ready to draft a small forward, power forward at 5. That was the expectation. And then at 8, you would draft whether it's Wagner still or Moody or Book Knight, whoever was left. So this was kind of a curveball, in my opinion, even though Hammond in an interview said today that no matter what, they were going to draft him. So I don't know if there was a promise involved there or what happened. But this kid is 6'11", plays really, really good defense.
He was 6'9".
Yeah.
During March Madness. 6'9" in March Madness. So during this time period, since his last basketball game, grew 2 inches. 6'11".
Yep. And he's a real small forward. Like I know he's tall, but he's a legit small forward. If you watch his tape, He can move those feet really, really well. He's an amazing defender. And better yet, he only shot the ball 1% worse than Moody from the 3-point range. So, and I posted it on Twitter. I said, who would you rather have, player A or player B? Player A on Twitter, that was Wagner, if you didn't know. Every category except points per game and that 1% in 3-pointers, Wagner's a better player in every category. And he is 5 inches taller. So I ask you, what would you do in that situation? If you have those two players on the board, what would you have done?
Hindsight, right? Now that we were allowed to kind of just let everything kind of, settle down a bit. I do my research. Granted, I'm cheating a little bit because I've been doing research since 9 o'clock this morning. Work and research at the same time. It's not the great scenario, but I made it happen. And it again, yeah, you're right. It makes a whole lot of sense. Suggs is ball dominant. Cole Anthony, ball dominant. Markelle Fultz, ball dominant. You still have Terrence Ross, Gary Harris on your roster.
RJ Hampton.
These are players that they're go. Like, they're trying to put the ball in the basket. And as much fun as having a book night would have been, I still think that a player like Moses Moody would have been a really good fit. This is a versatile player that can play both the 3 and the 4. The fact that he is now 6'11" is bananas. And he's a player that, so sophomore in college, 2 seasons for Michigan, he's still 19 years old, and he's still younger than Barnes, Mobley, and Jalen Suggs.
Mm-hmm.
Younger in age. Now, there's the only concern, because this is a player that can do a whole lot of everything. He's not expected to be an all-star caliber player. They project him to be a really solid role player, but he doesn't need the ball in his hand to be effective. And I think that when you get a player like Jalen Suggs, why not? Why not with the 8th pick? And I was kind of thinking about this earlier today. The Magics are the Magic. We have like that AI system that we've invested in, and we're able to collect data from college games. And, it's supposed to be an advantage that no other team really has. And I think that obviously they did because they invested in it, but this just sounds like a player that they really made that decision based on the collected data. Like, you didn't need that data for Suggs, but you needed that data for a player like Wagner that was projected to go 10, 11, 12, and we end up selecting at 8.
But you know what's funny? Like, if you look at the mock drafts, the latest ones, like yesterday and Wednesday night, people really thought the Warriors were going to pick him. And right after us, you had Memphis and you had Sacramento, who really, really liked him. And Weltman said the moment they picked him, they got calls right away, trying to get him from the Magic and get some sort of package for him. So there was interest for this guy. The Magic are not crazy. They didn't reach, like the Spurs did, right? Drafting Primo from 29th overall, projected to 11th. No.
What was that?
I have no idea.
My goodness.
So my point is, we drafted a guy that was projected to go in that range. And like you said, you hit 100% right in the head. Like, this kid does everything on the court that you need a small forward or a non-ball dominant player to do. He sets picks. He cuts to the basket. He rebounds well. He shoots the 3. He plays good defense. So this is a perfect kid to say, hey, go in the corner. Let Markelle create. Let Suggs create. And all you got to do is cut to the basket or stay open so we can hit you and hit a 3. Like, we don't need him to be an all-star.
And that's the crazy part about his game. Like, if you're not familiar with this game, we're gonna end up doing a reaction video to his highlights. That way people can kind of get really introduced to him. And I'm sure that a lot of people have already done their research on him. But yeah, he's 6'9", 6'11". He's not. This isn't like a big man. Like, this is someone that literally he's a Swiss Army knife. Does everything. He's able to put the ball on the floor. This dude is able to find the open man. He's a great playmaker. He can hit the shot. He has a block rate of a big man at 3.2% and a steal rate of a guard at 2.3%. So this is literally someone that can guard multiple positions And again, he's someone that you have in your also some of the things I Scott Barnes when I that short time period that I really convinced myself that he was the guy. What I liked about Scotty Barnes is that he was able to do so many different things. He was able to guard 1 through 5. What I like about Wagner, I'm not saying that he's able to guard 1 through 5, but he's has lateral feet, good lateral feet that he's able to guard the smaller guards. And now he has that big body frame that he's able to guard, the bigger players. So I think that we did a really good job at the 8. I didn't think that yesterday, but today after doing the research, and a lot of the national media, they agree with it also. They've been rating the Orlando Magic, A-, B+, A+, kind of all over the board, but people really, really like the 2 players that we're bringing home.
Yeah, I think it's the first time that I can remember that the Magic are being rated or the draft grades are coming out and the Magic are top 3, top 4 in the NBA with the way that they drafted. I can't remember that ever being the case. Even when we got JI and everybody else, the complaint was like, these guys need years to build their bodies. They're not quite ready. Similar to what Kuminga would have been. So yeah, man, it feels great to look back and say, hey, we got A+, A-, A as draft grades from this draft analyst. So they know something that we don't know about Wagner and what we got in him. So again, I think based on our roster, he's a great fit. And again, yesterday at Q, I didn't think that way. I really wished we would have gotten Moody yesterday. But looking back at it now, it makes perfect sense.
He has shades of Lamar Odom and Danilo Gallinari based on the Ringer draft guide that they have. There's a lot to be excited about. Now the question is, what do you do with his brother?
I know.
Do you bring his brother back?
Well, he took his number, right? So he's going to wear number 21. I would like to see it. I think there's not many centers out there that I would want to see in the Magic as a third string center behind Bamba and Carter Jr. Than Wagner. I think that would make perfect sense. Like this kid just hustles, plays hard, has a chip on his shoulder. So why not? It makes sense.
Yeah, and now the Magic also had the 33rd pick. And, in typical Orlando Magic fashion, the Orlando Magic ended up deciding to trade the 33rd pick to the LA Clippers, which I'm a little disappointed. Okay, they trade him. I get it. We have a lot of young players. I get it. But the fact that they ended up drafting like an Orlando kid, I think kind of hurt my soul a little bit. Just a little bit. Boone kid, Jason Preston out of Ohio.
It would have been a great story for sure. Like, this kid, again, from Orlando, his story it's incredible to get to the point that he's at right now.
He would have been perfect for the Lakeland Magic.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you pick him, you send him to Lakeland for a whole year, heck, 2 years if you need to. And that's it. Like, if he never pans out, who cares? But I don't get it. And what we got back was pretty much nothing. Like, we got a 2026 second round pick that more than likely won't be better than what we had at, the 33rd.
We got cash also.
True. It's a nice dinner for
couple extra vending machines and at the Amway.
It's a nice dinner for John and Jeff. They deserve it.
Now, all right, so that's it. We're done. No more speculating. No more reading all these crazy, wacky mock drafts that really weren't anywhere near it, except the one on Orlando Magic HQ done by our boy Jay. That was a great one. All the other ones were just like really confusing. What would you grade if you had a stamp, a educational school system grade on this draft? What would you give it?
I'm gonna give it an A+.
A+.
Just because
can't do no wrong.
Listen, just because I was one of those guys that said I'm willing to trade the 5th and the 8th pick for the 3rd. Like I was ready for that, to jump up and get a Mobley, a Suggs, Jalen Green, whoever. The fact that we did that without having to trade anything, and the fact that we got another guy in Wagner that, again, may not be an all-star, may not be an amazing player. We got him for free in a sense, right? Like we got him, Vooch, of course, but I'm saying in my mind, for us to jump up and get a guy like Suggs, it would have costed us the 8th pick some way, somehow. It didn't. So for that reason, again, we got two guys that fit in our roster right away. They can start playing right away next season. I'm sold. A plus, if you ask me.
I see the way that I view Wagner is I really don't even view him as a draft pick, if that makes sense. Like I view him as we traded for him, right? Because we traded Vooch and Chief, and we got back Otto Porter, the 8th pick, and a future first. So I'm grading it based on literally just Jalen Suggs. And this is the biggest win that you can possibly imagine. Mike Schmitz and Kendrick Perkins, they were on the jump with Rachel Nichols, and they were kind of talking about, what were some of the teams that surprised you, or who were some of the winners. And in typical Kendrick Perkins fashion, he said, "Oh, the Detroit Pistons, because they had the balls to draft Kate Cunningham." But then Mike Schmitz ended up saying that, the team that he sees as a winner outside of the top three, because top three was kind of solidified, was the Orlando Magic. And granted, the Magic didn't do anything crazy. It's not like we traded up to get Jalen Suggs. He just kind of fell in our laps. It does take a certain amount of confidence and faith and definitely luck for them to decide, hey, we're not going to trade up, we're not going to trade down, we're going to stay put, and we're going to see how this kind of shakes out. And again, the fact that we landed, we were able to take home Jalen Suggs and a player Wagner. It's definitely an A++, because I don't want to give the same grade that you got. So I'll add another plus in there.
There you go.
Now, we didn't just get that, right? So a lot of different things were kind of happening. There was a lot of talks about the Magic possibly jumping back into the draft and getting another first round pick. Terrence Ross was kind of in the news a lot, or around the rumor mill, and several teams were showing interest in Terrence Ross leading up to the draft. And the New York Knicks were rumored to be one of the ones that were making a strong push, and nothing happened. How are you feeling? Do you feel if now adding Jalen Suggs to the mix that could now open up that room to be able to trade Terrence Ross or Gary Harris?
Like we've been saying all along, I think you have to trade one or the other. I think we don't have enough minutes in the team as it is right now to play both of them next season. Are the Magic going to get what they want in a trade right now? I don't know. I prefer to keep Terrence Ross if I can. But then again, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. So I think something's going to happen because, again, you have way too many wings and it's not going to work. If you're going to be playing Harris and Ross over, let's say, RJ Hampton or over Suggs, the fan base is not going to be happy. The same way that we want to see Mo Bamba play, but yet Vooch was in there, even though we're losing a bunch of games. So I cannot see it the same way. We're not competing. We're not going to, again, make a high seed in the East next season. So why keep, a guy like Gary Harris that is on an expiring contract, or Terrence Ross if you have a good offer out there that interests you? So I expect one of them to be gone. How about you?
At least one to two. If I had to choose, I would definitely want to keep Terrence Ross just because he's a positive veteran. He's also your longest tenured Orlando Magic player on your roster. He's the only surviving player from the Rob Hennigan era. How you could part ways with him, and then you really have a brand new era completely, because at that point, again, you have no more Rob Hennigan era players. Mm-hmm. But I'm a fan of Terrence Ross. He's someone that, you can really tell does enjoy playing for this roster, does enjoy the city, wants to be here long term. I want to say it's a long line. He's a lifetime contract. I'm not sure that can be kind of declined or renewed or whatever the case may be. But no, in all seriousness, I would definitely want him to stay. But again, if you're going to make a move, it's not like if you want to keep the young players intact, you really don't have a whole lot of options. It's really going to be between those two in regards to be able to send out value. And teams need a player like Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross is a firecracker off that bench. He doesn't need to start. He's not complaining. The minute that you put him in the game, he doesn't care if he didn't have any burn. That dude, the minute that he goes in there, he has the confidence that he's going to shoot that ball, and he's a really, really good shooter, and he would be a major plus on any team. I just hope that if we do make a trade, that we send him to a team that's in the fight. I would like to see him in the team that is running for the playoffs, because in my opinion, he's a player that definitely deserves it.
Yeah, and I think they would. The way they did it with AG, Vooch. Well, Vooch went to the Bulls, which we expect.
That was kind of sad. That was semi-sabotage, and if we can be honest.
True. But even then, though, like, the Bulls were supposed to be better. I don't know what happened. They just went downhill and they couldn't make the playoffs, but they were supposed to make the playoffs. But even Fournier, he went to the Celtics. So I think the Magic always try to do the right thing for their guys. They will try to do the same if they do decide to move Terrence Ross. But another guy that comes to mind, another wing player, is MCW. Last year of his contract, I think $3 million, I think he's making. What do you do with him? Do you keep him? Do you let him go? Because that's another guy that, again, how do you find minutes for him right now with this core of young guys that, in my opinion, need minutes right away?
I know that I'm in the minority. I would definitely want to keep MCW. It would be a really good financial option. It's a player that could play with three. We've seen it happen. We've already dealt with injuries, and it's really good to have that type of player in your arsenal. So we'll see what happens. We have the NBA free agency coming out right around the corner. It's on Monday, right? Monday. And today alone, there's already been like 3 or 4 trades. So I'm sure that the Orlando Magic are still kind of working the phone lines and trying to still figure some things out.
I think so too. I think between now and Monday at 6 p.m. when officially free agency starts, that's when you can expect some moves to happen if we make a move. If you don't see nothing happening by the end of next week, as far as T. Ross, MCW, Harris goes, you pretty much guarantee that they'll be in the roster at that point next season.
Now, when it comes to free agency, what are you expecting the Magic to do? Like, what do you have expectations, like, or do you just kind of coast out until the summer league?
They have to make some moves. They need to fill up the rest of the roster. So they'll make some minor moves. I wouldn't expect them to pick up, anything major in free agency. A guy that I read today, Otto Porter, is not asking for a lot of money. He's going to be asking for the mid-level exception, which we have available to us. And if that's the case, that's a guy that's worth re-signing. The guy that can play defense, can shoot the ball a little bit, is a veteran. Does he want to be a part of this core? I don't know. But if he does want to be a part of it, that's a guy that is interesting. Outside of that, shooters, a third-string forward that can shoot a little bit, a small forward that can shoot it a little bit. So give me offense, because we have plenty of defense. We have plenty of everything else, it feels like. We just need guys that, if they get minutes, they got to hit the three-point ball. That's all I ask.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not really worried about free agency. I'm too hyped about the draft. I'm too hyped about the summer league. They already announced not both, but RJ Hampton, Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, they're all going to be participating in that summer league. And it's going to be fun to be able to see like the 4 of them on the court together. Cole Anthony, especially because this is someone that, was kind of thrown in the fire. Really only has been 8 months with the Magic, hasn't even been a full year yet. Didn't get a chance to have the summer league experience. So just to kind of see him in there is going to be really, really fun to watch. So hurry up, get done with the free agency. There's not really anyone out there that excites me, I guess, from a free agency standpoint that would really fit with this core. Then again, I really got to take a look at the list also. But as of right now, I'm more focused on summer league than I am free agency.
So Mo Wagner doesn't catch your attention. You're not excited for us to announce that we've re-signed him.
I mean, it'd be a cool story to have the brothers on the roster. If I'm him, I'd be upset they took my jersey number.
True.
And I know we kind of switch over from the Jalen Suggs topic, but just curious, they obviously had showed their uniforms, and Jalen Suggs decided that he's going to wear number 4. Does that worry you? When I saw the jersey number, I had Elfrid Payton nightmares.
Oh man, no, this is gonna make you forget about Elfrid Payton. I think that's what's gonna happen with this. Yeah. No, please don't bring me back to those days. No.
Good, because those nightmares kind of haunted me a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Now today they also announced that we finally fulfilled our assistant coach. We completed the bench. So if you haven't heard, in addition to the ongoing role of Director of Player Development and Quality Control, Orlando Magic executive Becky Bonner is expected to join Jamal Mosley on his staff. And in addition to Nate Tibbetts, we've also added Dale Osborne, Caleb Canales. Really hope I said that name right. They'll be filling the remaining 2 spots on the Orlando's bench. So good to see that we've already completed that. Again, it sounds and seems like they really wanted those player development. And it's exciting to see that that's finally completed just in time for Summer League.
Yeah, the one thing that catches my attention there, a lot of young guys. Again, I think Osborne is the oldest one, but Canales it's a young coach. Becky Bonner is pretty young. Nate Tibbetts is pretty young. So it's a very young coaching staff. And again, they're all known for development. They all spend time together at some point or another in Portland on the Terry Stotts, including Mosley. So I think it's going to be exciting to see kind of how it all plays out. They have that chemistry already. They know each other. You're just hoping for the best at this point. But other than that, can't tell you much about them other than the fact that they have really good, solid coaching experience, whether it's G League or NBA assistant coaching experience. So we're not getting brand new guys to add to the staff. It's guys that know what they're doing and know what we expected of them every single day.
Yeah, and then Magic General Manager John Hammond was on 969 The Game today, and he said that the Magic are hoping that Markelle Fultz is going to be ready for the beginning of the season, if not shortly after. Are you excited about that? Do you think that's still too soon? What are your thoughts on that?
I got to say, it doesn't surprise me at all. I think a few weeks after Markelle had the surgery, or maybe a month after, I remember going to Amway and going to the games, and I'll see Markelle at the bench without a knee brace, already standing up, cheering for the guys, high-fiving the team after every timeout, which was a shock because one thing about J.I. is he was always wearing the knee brace. No matter what, he was always wearing the knee brace. So I don't know if it's just a matter of the fact that Markelle healed faster. He feels confident. He's been tackling the rehab faster. I don't know what's going on, but I can see it happening. Now, do we need to do that? I don't think so. I wouldn't mind if they wait until November, maybe late November to bring him back. It will be an amazing story if Markelle's out there opening night. Like, that would be incredible for the fan base. We will be going crazy. But again, play it safe. Unless you bring him back on a minutes restriction off the bench, you can say, hey, be the backup point guard for now. We'll get you back to starting lineup later on. But there's no need to risk it. But I'll trust him. If they throw him out there as a starter, the game opening night, man, like that would be insane. That's for sure.
Now, if you're Markelle Fultz, I mean, how are you feeling about the Orlando Magic selecting Jalen Suggs? Are you watching your back a little bit? Are you a little worried? I mean, it's if I'm him personally, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go this season. Like, you've already had to deal with the injury for a good period amount of time. Doctors are saying that you're healthy. The Magic, you know how we roll. So if you're not like 110% healthy, unless your name is Jonathan Isaac and we're in the playoffs in the bubble, not going to put you out there. So you would imagine that, he's ready to go. Now, the fun thing, well, not necessarily the fun thing, but the great thing is John Hammond was also saying that he 100% envisions Jalen Suggs and Markelle Fultz both coexisting on the court together. So from what it sounds like, that's kind of the strategy and the plan going into it. But do you have concerns as Markelle Fultz with the Magic selecting a guard in the draft with the 5th pick?
I mean, I don't think you do. It will push him to play harder, to show his guy, and to really kind of get things going right away when he gets back on the court. Like, he needs to just play the way that he was playing before he got hurt. But I don't think so. I think there's an understanding in the team. Even when Jalen Suggs spoke about the team and the guys he's joining, he mentioned Markelle as being a guy that he wants to play with. Cole Anthony has said a number of times that he can play next to Markelle as well. So there's an understanding going on along the team that, hey, we got to earn our spots. And I like that. So be a competition every single day in practice and may the better man win. But again, the Magic just signed Markelle to a new contract. We're committed to him. So the only way I see him, and I hope this doesn't happen, kind of giving up on him is if he suffers another injury of some sort, or he comes back and he just doesn't look right. Then I can see the Magic saying, hey, we love you, but we got 3 guys that can play the point guard. We're going to have to move on from you. But I really don't think that's the case. And I really hope that's not the case. I still believe in Markelle. And I believe him and Suggs playing together, it's a perfect fit. Suggs is more of a shooter. He likes to kind of stay there a little more. Attacks the rim too, but he can shoot it better. Markelle, it's all about going to the hoop, that mid-range shot, pick and rolls. So I think they complement each other really well.
I still need to get used to the fact that, we're talking about Jalen Suggs on Orlando Magic roster. Like, how did the Raptors allow for that to happen? The NBA done messed up, man. No, but in training camp is going to be fun. It's going to be fun because there's going to be a lot of competition. The fact that we didn't draft the center and Evan Mobley, we didn't trade up, that takes away that conversation of, having to worry about the logjam of Wendell Carter and Mo Bamba. Now it's just them two. Them two are going to have to go into that training camp and they're going to have to battle it out. And it's a perfect opportunity under Mosley, under a brand new coaching staff, that they can really look at this man with a fresh pair of eyes and really see what you have with him. But then at the same time, you also have, Markelle Fultz, the now a veteran, former number 1 draft pick, not backing down from nobody. I'm the starting point guard of the Orlando Magic. This is me. You're going to have to take it away from me type of attitude. Not that he said that. I'm just talking for him. And Jalen Suggs that's trying to make a point that he's coming in here. He's going to be the leader. This is he wants to be able to see the raid city. But you also have Cole Anthony. Like, this don't back down from nobody either. So just the young blood and the competition that they're going to have in training camp, man, it's only going to do so much for these players, and they're going to be able to really, really develop. And the fact that you have Mosley kind of leading that ship, man, it's going to be I'm so excited for this season to start. Like, can we start now? Like, can we hurry this up? Like, I'm ready to see it all come together.
I was doing math in my head today. I'm like, wait, we're 2 weeks away from Summer League. And then after that, we're pretty much a month and a half away from preseason. So I'm like, this is going to happen quick. So thankfully, this offseason, it's kind of fast because we're trying to catch up to our normal NBA dates. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to go by quick. I know it seems like it's a long ways away, another 8 weeks, but it's not that far, man. It's only about 8 weeks before we start preseason and training camp. But I'm like you, man. I can't wait to see what this team looks like on the court. New coach, faster pace. But you keep forgetting RJ Hampton, which in my opinion is
probably how do I forget RJ Hampton?
Second or third best young guy we have right now, in my opinion. Like, this dude has been working his butt off this offseason. I believe we're going to be shocked when we see that kid play next season for us. A little bit taller, more confident, knowing the team better now. He's going to go out there and ball out. And I think, again, I see him as a small forward now, though. I don't think he's going to be a shooting guard, point guard. So he's fine.
And that was always the vision. That was always the vision when we initially made the trade. Jeff Wellman said that he envisioned RJ playing the small 3 position. And when we saw him at the Amway yesterday, he was with Wendell Carter, and it might have been the angle. It's not like we were right next to him or anything, but from a distance, he definitely looked like he was 6'7".
He did. He looks taller. So, even from last season, I don't know. I kept saying, like, wait, he's 6'4". He looks a little bit taller than that, even when the season ended. So I believe it. Whether 6'6", 6'7", whatever it may be, tall enough to play the small forward. That's all I care about.
Yeah, man. That we will 100% have by far the funnest, youngest, most. You know how they normally come out with like the list of best future team or best whatever Bleacher Report be coming out with. I swear that if I don't see our names on any one of those lists, we're gonna have issues. I'm writing people emails. We're gonna have Jake Fisher on one of our episodes really soon, so we'll talk to him about it.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that he puts a good word in there for us, because we have to be top 3, top 4 in the NBA as far as excitement for the young core that we have.
Yeah. So August 9th will be the first day of the Summer League. where we take on against the Golden State Warriors. That's gonna be a fun game to watch. So you're looking at Jalen Suggs versus Kuminga, and your boy Moses Moody. How did Golden State Warriors end up with Kuminga and Moody?
See, I wanted those guys in Orlando. I got them as my backup team. When I watch Steph play, I can still see how they do with the Warriors. So I'm happy no matter what. Like it worked out for me.
How? My goodness.
But you know what's funny? I was listening to a Warriors podcast just to see their perspective on things.
You shouldn't do those things, Al.
I have to. I want to see what
Warriors
they think.
Podcast and messes with your brain.
But wait, you know what's funny? They are not happy with the fact they drafted Kuminga. They wanted Franz Wagner. They wanted Wagner at 7.
Who did?
The guys that do the Warriors podcast.
Yeah, because they wanted someone that so the issue with Kuminga is that he was one of the youngest players in the draft. He's another project. I think I read it somewhere. I can't remember. It might have been Mike Schmitz. But they were saying that the first thing that he would do with Kuminga is have this man just watch nothing but Jalen Brown videos and get him to really follow that mold of development. It's going to take him time to get better. And I think that's the even though Kuminga was somebody that I wanted at 8, that with Franz Wagner, he's someone that is able to make an immediate impact right now. Like now.
And that's the thing. I think
this season.
We were there an Amway wishing, man, like let's let Kuminga go to 8. That was gonna be an amazing draft. A+++, if that would have happened in our eyes. But again, after stepping back and playing things out, Wagner's a guy that can play now. Kuminga may need a year or two to be ready. And he may be a better player down the line. I'm not saying no. But right now, it seems like the Warriors, who want to win a championship, would have rather have a guy like Wagner over Kuminga, which made me feel better about what we did.
Yeah. And then Alex Kennedy from basketballnews.com, he just reported that Janice Timma will play for the Orlando Magic in the Summer League, which if you remember, Janice Timma, he was the player that we ended up obtaining the draft rights back in 2015. And then we just never saw him.
Forgot about him.
He just stayed internationally. It's like the ghost of Fran Vasquez.
Yeah. Oh, God. Let's not go back there.
Yeah. So we got preseason coming up in October 10th. And, it may have felt like this draft was going by really, really slow. But, man, that October is going to come around really, really quick. But all in all, man, if you got to be super excited about this draft. Really, really, it sounds a little cheesy. Jeff Wellman says all the time, but it is an exciting day for the Orlando Magic. It really is that. I embody that.
He's getting to you.
Yo, it's like he got me. I'm speaking the same language. Now, something that I did also read real quick, and I wanted to add this in there. I wish I would have added it earlier, but we'll do it now. That part of the reason why the Toronto Raptors did pass on Jalen Suggs was for the simple fact that he had a really bad workout for the Raptors.
If that's the case,
thank you.
I'm glad he did it on purpose. He tanked. He was like, he went this like, listen, I suck. He could have hit a layup. He could have hit a free throw. He wanted to play in Orlando. You saw his reaction, by the way, when the Raptors picked Barnes?
No, I didn't.
So he jumped up and started clapping.
Because he was happy for Scotty Barnes.
No. Because he's coming to Orlando.
See, this is how stories are created, Al. He was happy for his boy Scotty. that got drafted to cold out of the country, Toronto.
Sure.
Or Let's Tampa. Are they playing in Toronto or Tampa?
I think it'll be Toronto at this point. But then again, COVID keeps getting worse again. So who knows?
Yeah. Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Magic did a really good job. Definitely consider ourselves winner. Al, final thoughts.
Well, different one today. It's going to be to our listeners and our audience. Check out Orlando Magic HQ Instagram account. We have a giveaway. So we, again, got our brand new rookie, Jalen Suggs. We're giving away. I'm guessing you're going to want his jersey over Franz Wagner. I'm not sure if you do.
There's nothing wrong with Franz Wagner's jersey. The 21 does look nice.
But I'm gonna guess whoever wins is gonna want Jalen Suggs. But if you don't, you can choose Wagner as well. Not a problem. But either way, you can get one of the jerseys and the 2021 NBA Draft Orlando Magic hat. All you need to do is make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're following us on Instagram, and you tag 2 friends on the post. If you do that, you're entering into the contest. We're going to choose the winner on Monday afternoon. So again, what a better way to start this brand new season than to have a free jersey and a free hat. So again, if you haven't seen the post, check out Orlando Magic HQ Instagram account. The post is there for you.
Absolutely. And then also don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, you're already there. We're going to be releasing reaction videos for Franz Wagner as well as Jalen Suggs and their past season in college. On that note, thank you so much for listening. It's a wrap. Jalen Suggs.
Crazy.
Number 5. Let's go. See you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to the OZone Podcast, the voice of Magic fans. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the OZone Pod. And remember to subscribe and leave a 5-star review on all your favorite podcast listening platforms.